that just says, insert something witty here. All right, and with that, we are ready for blood.
Oh, we're good? Okay, excellent. Hello, my name is Psych0sis, and today I'm joined by the wonderful pogokeen.
Hi, I'm pogokeen. I'm a build engine speedrunner and a developer of Ion Fury.
Awesome. Yeah, he knows a lot about the engine. He's going to help explain some more of the technical tricks in the run. So, Blood, if you've seen this whole block, it's just an FPS. You know what it is. So we're ready to go here. Is the timer ready? Any second? Okay, 3, 2, 1, go. All right, so this is Blood. We live again. So the story of this game, you were in a cult and worshiping a death god, and he betrays you and takes your girlfriend and all your friends, and now you just got to go on a sort of revenge tour. So you're gonna notice that I'm going diagonally for most of my running. It's just typical FPS sort of gameplay. You move faster. There's a trick right here where if I throw that TNT just right, well, none of these TNT barrels will explode. It saves a couple of seconds. It's not that big of a deal if I didn't get it, but you know, it's kind of like a swag strat. Speaking of the TNT, it's a rather useful weapon for the speed run. So coming up here, we got our first instance of a rocket jump. Yeah, so normally you're supposed to get a key, typical FPS sort of lingo, get the key, open doors, but that door doesn't reach all the way to the ceiling, so we just use the TNT jump to jump right over it. And the next level has a really cool trick.
Yeah, so normally when you fall off this train, there's a trigger that should kill you, but by buffering jumps, we can stay just above the damage trigger, and nice. With that timing on the TNT jump, we're able to just come up here and get this key, and now we've got to make our way back. As we fall out this window, we can't avoid hitting this damage trigger, but we have just enough health, nice, to make it back onto the train.
Yeah, so if you buffer your jump input, you basically are jumping the frame you land, and we don't go deep enough into the trigger to actually take damage. So we're going to abuse it again here to go into the super secret of the level. Levels have secrets. This one has like basically all the weapons that we're going to need for the rest of the run. And that is mission 3. So now we have one of the bread and butter tricks of the run coming up here in a second. I'll let pogokeen explain why it works.
Yeah, so we're about to do a door glide. Psych0sis is going to aim himself so that he hits just the edge of that wall. Nice, perfect. So those are pretty precise tricks. When Caleb slides into a corner, he's supposed to keep track of the walls he's touching, but if he slides into it with the right angle or while spinning the mouse, he can end up getting wedged into the door, and for doors that raise at the bottom up, it means that he can slide right through them.
Yeah, normally that key that I did it through there, or that door requires a key, that's what I wanted to say. But we could just skip doing all that nonsense, and we're going to use it a lot more in the run. The first episode is rather straightforward. There is a really cool trick coming up in the next level that I believe pogokeen found.
Yeah, so
yes.
There's some pretty crazy dynamite jumps that are going to come up that skip pretty much the entirety of the next level.
Yeah, and you're going to notice I jumped really high there without a rocket jump. That's because of the jump boots. We got that in the previous level. They just allow you to jump high for free, and we could use that with TNT explosions to go really high, which I'm going to do here in a second. So now we've got the really tough skip coming up, if you want to explain.
Yeah, so what's going to happen here is Psych0sis is going to inch his way out of a window in this upper area. He's going to need a lot of health for this because he's got to make TNT jumps in 2 directions. So once he's up here, this window, normally when you inch out of it, the wind is going to want to push you out and make you fall to your death. But just outside here, there's a secret ledge across a gap, and we're going to want to bounce our hitbox off the ceiling so we can fall onto this ledge in the clouds. Nice, perfect. that is a very technical trick, and Psych0sis just made it look easy. So he's still got another half to do. Now he's got to get back to the window, so he's got to throw Caleb like a dart with these TNT bundles here.
Yeah, this one's probably the harder one of the two, for sure.
Perfect.
Nice. Yeah, that's way harder than it looks. It's very precise setups there and back.
And that skips a key that normally would take many minutes.
Like a minute or two.
Yeah.
Right there. Funny thing with that, you're supposed to wait for that to slide open, but you can just run into it and it lets you warp through. By the way, here's our girlfriend. She's dead. So now Caleb's really pissed off.
Show yourself.
And this is the boss that did it, so we're gonna go ahead and, how dare you, trap him in his little timeout corner, and we're just gonna kill him. It's kind of an AFK fight, and he's dead.
Sleep.
And that is episode 1. So if you're wondering how the speedrun works, we have to do all 4 episodes. You could technically do them in any order, if like when you submit it on speedrun.com. I'm gonna do it in the the story order, just because it makes the most sense for people watching. But right here we got a really cool trick. There's this is one of the few doors in the game that isn't locked on the other side. So we're gonna spray can underneath it, which is basically the flamethrower of this game. And the flame hits an enemy and he gets alerted and tries to come kill us. So he opens the door for us.
And that again skips the entire level. King Mamba found that trick.
Yeah, shoutouts to King Mamba. He's a really important blood speedrunner. Shoutouts to Muty, shoutouts to Hano, who runs Fresh Supply. Everyone who helped make this run what it is today is very important. So this level, getting a little trolled here, but it's actually fine. This level can be a bit scary, but we're gonna have a decent little, just a bit of speed tech coming up here in a second. So normally, this water section coming up, you have to like swim underneath and hit a little lever. I'll show you it right there. You have to hit that, and then the water slowly rises up, but that's hella slow. So we're just gonna explode ourselves up and above the threshold to get the key, which is to open this door, which is the last key that we need. Actually, no, there's one more key. It's right here. And then we're gonna swim to the end. So the next level is actually a rather... The rest of this level and the next level are kind of uneventful. So how are we looking on like the incentive for the post-mortem expansion? And donations and stuff?
We are less than $2,000 away.
Awesome. You got time for like a donation or two. This level has really nothing going on.
All right, we have $250 from Kinzel that says, current Monolith employee here. I didn't personally work on Blood. I was 10 when it came out, but I saw it on the GDQ schedule and thought this would be a good time to make a donation. I haven't been able to watch as much of this GDQ as I usually do, but what I have seen has been going very well. Keep up the good work.
Awesome. So
thanks very much.
This level is kind of funny. You're supposed to go through it. It's supposed to be like a Haunted Mansion, Rip on the Shining. This is the last door. You could just crouch underneath it. They didn't make it extend all the way to the ground. And this is coming up right here is another bread and butter trick of the run.
Yeah, so this is what we call a warp. So in this map, there are 2 rooms that are stacked one over each other. And because Build isn't a full 3D engine, whenever we can confuse it about what room we're in by, for instance, crushing ourselves against that door, we can just warp down to the room below and skip the majority of that level.
Yeah, this is one of the quickest levels. All you have to do is jump into that window, hit a switch, and it opens up the last door. And now we're on probably the toughest trick in the game, and I'm gonna have to focus. I'll let pogokeen sort of explain what I'm trying to do here in a second.
Yeah, so in Build, TNT is very finicky. It doesn't always find the sprites it's supposed to damage in the same way each time. But what Psych0sis is going to do here is he's going to line up a very precise dynamite jump that takes 8 bundles of dynamite. And that's going to give him enough speed to launch him up onto a ledge that's far, far above in this mine. Now, the setup here is very, very difficult. Every time through, you don't always get the same momentum, But once we get that momentum, we should fly up to basically the end of this level.
Yeah, this should work now. There we go.
Nice.
Yep. There we go. Yeah, that is, it's as seen as how many times I failed it. It's really difficult. Thanks to shoutouts to Muty, who's the world record holder for DOS. He found out that setup like literally last night, and it's way better than the one I was using before. That skipped so much of the level that even though I kind of failed it for a good bit, I still believe that's faster than doing the level like casually. So if I crouch, these guys just can't hit me for some reason. And now we're on the last boss of episode 2.
Let's go.
And should be dead. Yep. That's it. We never even see the boss. Sometimes you have to go in there and finish him off, but it's a giant spider, so thankfully if you're arachnophobic, you didn't get to see it. But that's episode 2, which is by far and away probably the easiest episode in the run, but now we're on episode 3, which is usually regarded as the hardest.
It's definitely got most of the technical tricks of the run.
Yeah, it starts off kind of unassuming enough. Right here, we're just doing some basic TNT jumps to basically skip a bunch of the level. But the next couple levels, we're going to be really tight on HP as well. So I'm going to have to play this really safe right now. Okay, we're actually good on damage. So I'm going to get these jump boots behind this AC unit, drop down, and get this health pot. So coming up is another door glide, and it's like one of the easiest ones in the game. So hopefully should be able to get it first try to make up for failing. Yep, okay. So we got to TNT that to, oh, it didn't explode. I think I got to aim lower. Yeah, okay, wait, I'm low on HP, so let me just redo that. Okay. So right here, we're gonna jump through a little secret passage that's just gonna take us right to the end. Hopefully I don't get trolled here. Yep, okay. Shoutouts to the devs for adding this path back to the beginning. I applaud them, but with the jump boots, it allows us to just run right to the end, which skips a majority level. Now this is where the difficulty of the episode really starts to spike up.
Yeah, so this is the first level of episode 3 where we start to see these precise tricks getting into the run. So Psych0sis is about to do another one of these door glides off of some medical equipment coming up that hides a secret. And by using the jump boots, he's able to mitigate crushing damage and transform this door glide into a warp into the room below. Nice.
Yeah.
And
so that basically takes us to the basement, skipping a ton of the level.
now in the basement, we've got another key door that we want to skip, so we're going to use TNT and line up another glide against this gate. Nice.
Nice.
And that TNT just lets us right through.
I'm very good on HP right now, too. This next level has a bit of a auto-scroller bit at the start, so if you want to read a donation or two, it's probably the best time for it.
All right, we have a $5 donation from Failed Uplink donating to see the Blood expansion.
Hell yeah.
Thank you very much.
We have a $50 donation from Shibu that says, love the event, had to donate with a dear friend commentating during Blood. Cheers, Pogo. Thank you, Psych0sis, and all the GDQ crew.
Thank you.
Awesome. So we got, after this section here, we got 3 back-to-back really tough door warps. I'm gonna go ahead and clear out this room right here. You don't have to, but just makes everything a lot less stressful because these guys can't be hitting you while I'm trying to do this. So right here, I'm gonna do 1, but that's like the easy one of the 3. So now we got 2 more to try out, and pogokeen can explain what's about to happen.
Yeah, so this is a pretty tricky glide here. So we're on this moving conveyor belt, and we've got to stay in this very precise location so we can get squished into this tight angle that Caleb doesn't want to be in. Nice. And
There we
warp
go.
up to this upper room.
And it doesn't end here because we're about to do basically another one on this door.
Yeah, and with the jump boots,
Yep.
we avoid being crushed, warp straight to the end of the level.
Right, that skips just a huge chunk of the level. I made it kind of look easy, except for the second one, but they're really tough. That's where a lot of runs can die. So this is the dam level. A lot of people really like it. You're not supposed to be able to jump up from here, but if you recall back to episode 2, where I used the TNT explosion to boost myself out of water, if I can actually get it right. There we go.
Nice.
We're gonna just go right up on the ledge here, and then we got one more sort of precise TNT setup here. It's gonna take us right to the end. Yep, there we go.
Psych0sis made that look easy, but that is a lot trickier than it looks.
Yeah, for sure. Normally for that last TNT setup isn't needed, because you can just jump in the water and blow up some barrels, but it's so slow waiting for the water to rise that you got like 3 or 4 tries before you really start to lose time. So right here, you're supposed to go around and bring these pillars down with some buttons. But again, they're not reaching all the way to the ceiling, so we're just going to use that to jump right over with a very specific TNT setup and kill the boss. So that is the episode 3 boss. He's very scary casually, but we make it look very easy. And it's going to end any second here. Yep. And now we're on to the last episode of the game. How are we looking on the incentive for the postmortem?
We are $1,100 away.
All right, guys, come on. You gotta reach this donation. Postmortem is oh my god, it's so terrible.
It's one of the hardest episodes of the game.
Yeah, it's really fun.
People complained about
yeah,
the original game being too hard, and they listened by making the expansion even harder. So here in this level, we've got back-to-back trick after trick. So first we've got a glide that'll bring us into a neighboring room that we have to do off of this very small door frame. Makes it a bit tricky. Once we're up, Psych0sis is going to use the life leech staff to do a sprite boost. There we go. Nice. So this life leech staff, sprites in this game allow us to build up speed if we squish ourselves against them. Nice, allowing us to get through that window. And you can tell the water physics don't really work when you enter a sector horizontally. So Psych0sis had to use TNT there to blow himself down so that he could get to the exit.
Yeah, normally you're supposed to enter water from above, obviously. So the physics got all sort of confused there when I entered it horizontally. So I wasn't able to go down, so I had to blow myself up off the wall in order to do it correctly. So right here, besides that door warp, this level is kind of easy. Now we're coming up on probably my favorite level. It's a rip on Friday the 13th. So if you've noticed, this game kind of ripped on a lot of horror movies and kind of did like little winks and nods to all of them. This one's probably the most egregious because it's basically got the theme in the background if you listen closely enough. But yeah, there's not much going on here, but there is a really I always think it's funny, the little quirks in level design. So there's a lake here that we're supposed to use as like a backtrack method right here, but you could hit this switch from the other side. So we could just go through that because it's just a bit too much on the interactable distance. And we're able to go through and just basically rush right to the end. Again, it was another, let's add a way back for people to gather stuff, but they didn't realize the interactable distance was just a bit too much. This level right here, we're going to do a TNT jump to get the jump boots, and then we're going to use a super jump to reach up here, get this life seed. I haven't really touched much on the life seed. It just gives you 100 health, which is really useful in this game in general. And now we're on probably the toughest level, really. We got a pretty precise glide coming up,
Yeah, so this glide here, Psych0sis has to do this very quickly because and he's got it.
Yeah.
Those enemies there will just knock you around if you miss that glide.
Yeah, if you miss it, like it's not hard in and of itself, but with the nerves and everything, if you miss it, all the enemies like start catching up to you and they just start knocking you around and it's really bad. Do a super jump here in order to get up. So now, this section right here, you're supposed to do a really cool like puzzle section. Can you get away? Thank you. But we're just gonna say no, and we're gonna jump all the way across the giant gap to the end. And now we're on the second to last level, so I hope the incentive has been met by now.
We are less than $400 away from the incentive.
Oh, it's so
Come on,
close.
guys, we're almost there. I'll purposely die a couple times. No, I'm kidding. If I have to, but I really want to run the level or run the episode because it's got a bunch of cool tricks and it's just hard, so it'll be funny.
Thanks everyone who's donating towards that.
Awesome.
And with that,
Now
the
we're on the
incentive
last
has
level.
been met.
Nice.
Yes.
Thank you.
Awesome, guys. Thank you very much. Last level here. So this is basically a bit of a boss rush. We're going to be fighting all the bosses that we've been fighting throughout the main game. It's not too bad. There's this one scary section with the dog boss right here. He can just instantly kill you. See, like sometimes those flame objects he throws out actually do explode, and then sometimes they don't explode like they did right there. So we're on the last boss, which ironically enough is the easiest of them all.
Get ready on time.
Yeah. And he's dead. So time's coming up whenever the credit screen comes up here in a second.
Good, bad. I'm the guy with a gun.
So it's gonna come in 3, 2, 1. Now. There we go. Excellent. So that was Blood. If you saw anything there that looked really cool and you want to speedrun it yourself, we have a link on the speedrun.com page, speedrun.com/blood, I believe. Discord link. It's for all the build engine games, so you could come in and run any of them. Yeah. So now we've got the post-mortem expansion coming up here in a second, which is oh boy. So I could load into it like right now. Yeah, it's right here. All right. Awesome. All right, so we're gonna get right into it in about a second here, guys. I'll just wait for them to give me the A-OK. 8 minutes. All right. Again, if you enjoyed anything you saw, speedrun.com/blood. There's a Discord link. We could help you out. Even if you want to run the re-release fresh supply, it's still sort of the same run. So definitely come in. Always looking for new Bloodites. Alrighty, so we are ready. So 3, 2, 1, go. So this is the expansion episode. It is a pain. Thanks a lot for getting me to play it.
Well,
you'll see here in a second.
Definitely the
you'll
most
see.
difficult episode.
Yeah, so you just see there's a bunch of hit scanners. Like pogokeen said, people complained that the base game was kind of difficult, and for some reason they just said, okay, we'll make the expansion even harder. So we're pretty tight on HP. That was actually a rather clean mission 1. So we're gonna go here. I'm just taking this super safe because again, there's a lot that can go wrong in this episode, especially later on. Gonna get that life seed, which is basically gonna carry our health for most of the rest of the episode. Coming up here is a pretty tight trick.
Yeah, so here's another glide that we have to do under pressure. So this room is full of enemies, and if we miss this glide...
Tapped out. Oh no, my game crashed.
Uh-oh.
Oh no.
That has not happened before.
My game crashed. Oh no.
So Psych0sis is gonna try to quickly get back into End Blood.
Why? Oh no.
I live.
Okay, I'm just gonna go ahead. What is it? 5-2? Oh, 6-2 actually. I'm just gonna go ahead and.
You'll need to restart the Discord stream.
Right. Oh man. This game didn't crash at all during practice. Okay. All right. So we're back on episode 2. Am I good to go? All right. Let's just go. Right here. I'm gonna try to redo that, and hopefully the game won't crash now. Which was just awful that would happen right now. So I'm just gonna redo a bunch of that. So anyway, like we were saying, thanks game. There's a pretty tight glide here.
So this glide, this room, there's a bunch of enemies that are going to want to knock Caleb around. So Psych0sis has to get this glide basically on the first try or else reload. Nice.
Yeah, there we go.
Psych0sis
It's basically
has it.
like the glide in episode 4 where I had to get it right away or all the enemies would just start catching up and annoying me. So now that that level's finally out of the way, we're on mission 3. We're gonna jump through a little bit of a secret window there in order to get into this room from behind. And then we're gonna use this reflective, my screen's all blue because I have the reflective shots power up. Basically, I'm sort of immune to all sorts of bullet damage. So all their shots are getting reflected back at them. Noobs, get out of here. It's kind of straightforward this level, but there is a really cool glide here. We're gonna go right through this huge warehouse door, if I could get it. This is another one where, like, if you don't get it first try, they're gonna catch up. There we go.
Nice.
And the next level has probably the coolest one in the run, which is, I'll let pogokeen explain what's about to happen.
Yeah, so normally this level would have a huge underwater section. You'd have to get a bunch of keys, start a generator. Instead, we're going to sprite boost through this gate, get enough speed with a precise angle here, and nice, Psych0sis is through. Those sprite boosts can be pretty precise.
Yeah, that skips like a whole underwater section, and it's one of the longer episodes of one of the longer levels of the episode. And thankfully, otherwise that mission would be really tough. So coming up here, we're gonna go ahead and get the key. Coming up in a second here. Then we're gonna boot jump up, get this life seed, which is basically gonna be our health for the rest of the mission. Or episode, I mean. Okay, that guy almost killed me. Like I said, this episode is just so ridiculous with the amount of hit scanners, but it's gonna get worse in a couple of levels from now. This level starts off kind of funny. You could just jump over that door. They didn't make it extend all the way to the top, so you could just boot jump right over it.
Who needs keys when you've got jump boots?
Yeah. So right here, we're gonna do this elevator's slow. So we're gonna go ahead and just jump right up it. You could just wait it out, but it's kind of like a swag strat to skip that. This next level coming up is really, it's almost like an auto-scroller, but there is a lot that I have to do. Yeah.
So there are 3 segments to this level. This is the level right before the final boss of this episode, and they didn't want you getting to that final boss easily, so they threw everything at you. These cultists have Tesla cannons, they're throwing dynamite, and we've got to go to 3 separate challenging areas of the level to hit these switches. Spider Dagger Moon.
Just ignore this guy real quick.
So we got to hit these combos and then go to these separate sections, hit a switch in each one to open up the final run to the final boss.
Thankfully, this section's a little easier because I get the invisibility power up, so none of the enemies can see me right now. So thankfully, it's a little bit of a reprieve in this episode for sure, but it's about to get ridiculous, especially in the next part. What's this right here?
Moonfire Dagger.
So coming up right here, there's just 2 bosses as casual enemies in this episode. There's this whole room full of these guys that do a ton of damage. Now I gotta make sure I don't die. Okay, looking good so far here. I am on fire, which is never good. So, just so many enemies here. I don't have to kill them, but I'm just doing it so I don't die. We've already lost enough time by the game crashing on me here. So if anyone ever complains about hit scanners in this game, they're probably thinking of this episode, because this episode is hard. It just throws everything in the kitchen sink at you.
You can see just how many of these enemies are packed into these areas.
Yeah, so we're coming on the last boss here, which has a really cool trick, if Bogo wants to explain it.
Yeah, so Mr. Ripper and Colm found this. If you jib these bosses' corpses, normally you have to kill 2 of these bosses, but if you jib this corpse, it doubles up the trigger for killing that boss and lets us go straight to the exit.
Time now. Now. There we go. So normally you're supposed to kill 2 of those werewolves there, but we could kill 1 and blow up the body. And
GG.
GG. Kind of unfortunate that it crashed there, but again, it is what it is. At least I hope I finished underestimate still. Thanks everyone for watching. Shout outs to the Build Speedrun community. Again, speedrun.com/blood, Discord link. Thank you for having me, GDQ. I hope the next run is Doom 3, which is underrated as hell. So I hope you guys stick around for that. And thank you.
Thank you so much, Psych0sis, for that awesome run. We do have an upcoming run of Doom 3 with Rip Chip, but first, a couple of donations. We have $50 donation from Captain Snuggles. Meet all the incentives. A $25 donation from Imperial Ace, just donating for the prizes. Can you blame me? All right, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back right after this Twitch ad. We have a $25 donation from Duels. Happy to donate for this amazing event. Putting mine towards the Yakuza Kiwami 2 Majima Saga run. Kiryu-chan! And all right, and here's a quick interview.
Thank you very much. Welcome everybody to yet another interview here at Summer Games Done Quick 2020 online. My name is Jhobz and I am joined by KrusKader, who's going to be running Warframe for us a little bit later. Running being kind of maybe not the best word here because it's actually going to be a really cool showcase. KrusKader, how are you doing today?
I'm doing okay. Although right now probably you can hear my dog, which is on the balcony right outside of my windows here on this side. But
Yeah.
I'm doing okay.
The dog is just excited about the run, just like we are. That's all it is. So I wanted to kick this off by asking you, Warframe came out in 2008, and it's still been rocking a dedicated fan base like ever since. So how long have you been playing the game personally?
Not much actually.
Wow. So not like it's not this decade-long thing for you. It's been definitely a lot more recent. That's pretty cool. So
We have a $100 donation from J-Dub and JD that just says, please take our money, less than 3. And we are having some technical issues, but we will be right back with that interview with KrusKader in just a second. Until then, here's some more donations. Brad Bradley says $25. Happy SGDQ. $10 from Jane XT. So how much do I need to donate for the lamp, Cent? $5.75 from Definitely Not a Poet. We are closing in on $575,000. To celebrate, here is a haiku written for SGDQ. This is a haiku. Just kidding. No, it isn't. 7 syllables go here. We have a $25 donation from Shadow Mage that just says, Doom. Just Gus 101 with a $100 donation. No comment, but thank you so much for that donation, Just Gus. All right, and looks like we've got everything ready to go, so here's that interview once again.
all right, thank you very much. Welcome back, everybody. Thanks for dealing with the slight technical hiccups. It's an online marathon. It happens. Y'all get it. Once again, I'm Jhobz, and I'm joined by KrusKader, who's going to be running Warframe just a little bit later tonight for you all, coming up in just a couple runs here. So, KrusKader, just in case people couldn't hear it the first time, I was asking you about the game being out for over a decade now. It's been out since 2008, but when did you actually start playing the game?
I started playing in 2018. I played for like one day in May, and then in like December I started playing it more, and now I pretty much play it daily.
I think it's really cool that you came into it so late, and now we're kind of playing at a high enough level to be showcasing it at GDQ. What kind of made you start pick up the game the first time?
I'm not really sure. It's probably... I think it was because I was playing a lot of Path of Exile, but I was having some issues with my internet, what you just witnessed, and it resulted with a lot of lag and other problems playing Path of Exile, so I was looking for some other game for this place, and I decided to try Warframe, and I started to like it.
That's
and,
cool.
Now I'm here.
Yeah, and now you're here. So what is it that attracts you to Warframe? What made you want to invest the hours to play this game at such a high level?
Initially, I think it was movement, because movement in the game is really fun. Now, however, it's more about the build craft, because you can customize your equipment to a pretty high degree with various mods and mod setups, and also combinations of warframes and weapons and other stuff.
Wow, that's really interesting. Is that something that's going to be playing a big part in your boss showcase later? Or is that something that's maybe you're kind of set with one layout, one loadout, and you're just going to go with that for all the bosses?
No, actually, the variety is a very strong point of the Warframe. So my plan is to show 5 bosses, and each with a different loadout. While some loadouts will be showing some pieces of equipment, they will play pretty differently, I'd say. There are just some weapons that I just really like.
I do always think that there's always room for just listen, this is what I like about this, even if it's not necessarily the fastest or the most optimal thing. Now, I want to also let everybody know that you're actually planning on having one of the devs at Warframe on the call during your run. Is that correct?
Yes, Megan will join me.
Yeah, so anybody who is a fan of this game, like, be sure to tune in for that as well, because I always love hearing that dev insight. So another question here for you. Maybe this will be one of our last ones here, because I think it's going to have, pretty much an interesting answer. So, like, as one of our non-traditional showcases this event, what made you want to submit to SGDQ, a speedrunning event, with a boss showcase? I'm always interested to hear with these not strictly speedrunning things, these kind of more speedrunning adjacent stuff, these high skill showcases, why people felt that it was a good fit.
Well, while on the Warframe leaderboards we have category for doing a boss rush. However, it's way longer than my showcase, because last time I did it took me 40 minutes. And also there are some bosses which I don't find that interesting. As well, it doesn't include some bosses for certain reasons that I think are interested in, and I'm actually featuring one of those bosses in here.
So you actually do speedrun the game as well, and this is just kind of your way of going like, I'm gonna basically be speedrunning it, but I want to show you all of the best bits.
Yeah, that's a good way of pointing that out. Although I'll admit that I was more interested in speedrunning the spy missions, which involve basically in each spy mission there are 3 vaults, and you have to go in each and either avoid the security mechanisms and hack the vault, or you can just go ham and don't care. Although, if you trigger alarm in all 3 vaults, you're gonna lose a ton of time because mission changes into exterminate. Basically, your boss tells you, we've triggered too many alarms. Make sure enemy higher-ups won't hear about this, or something along those lines.
Yeah, can't let the bosses know. That's pretty much what that line is, I think. Well, KrusKader, I wish you the best of luck on your showcase later. Remember, everybody, please check out the Warframe showcase. It's coming up right after Doom 3, and it should be a blast. Thank you so much for talking with me. In the meantime, we are going to go back to the break screen real quick so we can hear more donations and stuff as we are setting up Doom 3, which is going to be in just a moment. Thanks, everybody.
We've got a $25 donation from Keiichi Face. Let's get the Majima Saga run. We all need more Majima. We've also got a $15 donation from Adam the Feverish. What's the opposite of